Well, there it is. There it is. What we were all waiting for to drop has finally happened. The New York Rangers have acquired JT Miller, bringing him back from when he was originally a Ranger because that's just the way this franchise is. But they bring him back in a trade. And we were all waiting for when it was going to happen. It was a matter of when, not if, honestly. And it got to a point where I was just so sick and tired of it to where if it's going to happen, let it be done and over with right now. So then I could at least be happy about the fact that I don't have to talk about it at nauseum as just a rumor. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this deal. And of course, I wasn't home when the trade broke because that's just the nature of it, too. I'm waiting around. Literally, any other day over the past few weeks would have been great. But it happened today, of course, when I'm not home. But either way, yeah, the Rangers get him. So in terms of the trade itself, the Rangers acquired JT Miller and they acquired two players, which Larry Brooks labeled as prospects, even though Eric Branstrom is just not a prospect in 2025. That's just simply not the case at all. But they acquired JT Miller. They acquired it was Jackson Dorrington. That was the other prospect they acquired. And then they sent the other way. By the way, no salary retention. No salary retention at all, which is apparently what was holding this deal up supposedly for a while, which is a little interesting. But in terms of what the Rangers sent the other way, Philip Hedl, Victor Mancini, and a protected first round pick. We have learned the conditions of that first round pick is top 13 protected. So if the Rangers finish 14th worst in the league and they don't jump up in the lottery, then there you go. They are going to end up with they're not going to have their first round pick this year. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this deal. On the surface, is this trade horrible? Not necessarily, because of the fact that if JT Miller is what he was even 2 seasons ago, last season, then you would be happy about it. But my problem is a couple of different things. One, the fact that now you're sitting with Miller and Mika Zibanejad's contracts on the books until 2030. And my other problem that I can't stomach at the very least is that it feels like the Rangers just gave up way more for JT Miller, who wanted out of the organization, who was causing issues in the locker room in Vancouver. I feel like they gave up more for JT Miller now than they got for JT Miller and Ryan McDonagh back when they traded those two in 2018. Sorry to remind everyone of the trade. But that's where I have mixed feelings about this. And I still worry about how it's going to impact the locker room. And I don't love the fact either that you shrunk the window. By acquiring JT Miller, you're basically saying, let's go with this group still. You're basically saying, let's go. Let's try to win a cup within the next 2 to 3 years. That is something that I don't love about this move. You're shrinking the window significantly, in my opinion, with this trade. I felt this team needed to get younger, not older. I felt they needed to get younger, not older. That's really what it comes down to. Is that they added another guy in JT Miller, which again, who the hell knows? Like, is he on the decline? Is that what this season is? Is this because he didn't want to be there? Which that wouldn't be the first time he was causing issues in an environment in terms of a place that he didn't want to be in or was fed up with everything going on around him. I don't know. I really don't. I just don't love this because to me, and the other issue that I'm having with this, where was the urgency last year? I'm sorry to keep bringing it up, but Why were they so unwilling to move a first and prospects last year when it made sense to go out and move those type of assets to get better versus now where it looks like your window is closing rapidly with at least a big portion of the group. And here I thought was an opportunity to start to retool the roster a little bit and get a little bit younger by moving maybe a Chris Kreider for a younger roster player, by moving, I don't know how you're going to get out of Zibanejad, but maybe getting out of Zibanejad's contract and attacking the free agent market, going out there and maybe getting someone. Or maybe there was a world where, they could have flipped some, just whatever it is, flip some of these veterans out to get some youth in the organization and start to build around some of these guys that are already here. And again, I get that Lafreniere has been struggling. I get that Phil Pedal probably was not going to be anything more than just a middle six center for this team for the entire time he was going to be here, which I definitely am sad to see him go. I have mixed feelings about that as well, because at the end of the day, the concussion issues are a thing. But my problem also is, if heaven forbid that happens, you just LTIR him and then you're out of it. With JT Miller, there is no out of this contract if it goes poorly. But I thought here was maybe a chance to get a little bit younger and see what you got here with some of these guys, and then start to tinker with the roster that way. Instead, to me, they signified, okay, they're going to get older, shrink the window, and try to compete still with this roster right now. I'm just confused by it. I'm just very confused by it. I don't I don't know. Like, the problem that I have is that it's really just that, like, the contract for me is the biggest issue. Taking on $8 million of JT Miller, and maybe the letter about the cap going up is what put Drury over the finish line with this deal to say, you know what, we don't need retention. That might have been it, honestly, because it makes no sense that this trade wasn't happening for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden, no cap retention, and now it happens. But I'm trying to look at the positives, and no matter how hard I try, I just don't see it unless JT Miller is what he was last year. But even then, who's to say that, say he does get back to last year's production, right? How long does he have of that? How much longer is he going to put up that type of production? Is where I'm trying to get at with that. How much longer is he going to be a point per game center, or a 90-point center, or 100-point center even? How much longer is that going to be the case? That's where I'm having a hard time computing this one. That's really what it comes down to. And to utilize your cap space there just baffles me. And Drury clearly views this as the culture changing move that we've been talking about too. That's the other thing, is that that's literally all I could see for this move being what it is, or why the Rangers really wanted to get this done, is to go out and make a move that will change the culture of this team. Will it work out? Only time will tell. Time will tell. But at the end of the day, I am going to be blunt. I'm going to be honest. That's how I am with this all the time. I'm not the biggest fan of this. And I've said it for weeks too, that if they were to acquire JT Miller, I was not going to be a fan of it unless Mika Zibanejad was going the other way or going to a third team, and they were getting out of that contract to where, okay, at least JT Miller is better than Mika Zibanejad. If you're going to be stuck with one of those two contracts, I guess I'd rather be stuck with JT Miller. But on the surface, again, the trade isn't horrendous in terms of what they gave up. But in terms of where this team needs to go is where I have an issue. In terms of Miller's contract is where I have an issue. In terms of potentially him declining is where I have a huge issue. And then giving up too, I don't love giving up Mancini in this deal. Am I going to lose sleep over Mancini of all players in this deal? No, because at the end of the day, he was probably going to be a third pair defenseman for this team for the long haul, to be honest with you. Maybe there's upside to be a second pair guy, but I'm not going to lose sleep over Mancini entirely, but I don't love giving up a controllable asset in Victor Mancini, to be honest with you. But again, that's really the least of it. For me, it's giving up the first round pick and even to an extent, Filipino, I don't love. Even to an extent. But to me, the only way I would have been okay with it was if Mika went the other way, but he was never waving for Vancouver. Never was. So I said for weeks that I wouldn't be a fan of this regardless. But so I kind of already have my opinion, and I've kind of already got most of my frustration, if you will, out about this. But, and I'm at the point of instead just accepting it and saying, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But I've said that a lot of different times, and here we are. So I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of this. And I can't rationalize this one. I'm sorry, but I can't rationalize the whole, well, the cap's going up thing, because every dollar matters with the cap. Just because the cap's going up doesn't mean you should take on terrible contracts and take on big contracts. Every dollar counts. Barclay Goodrow was the reason this team couldn't go out and get a top six winger for years. Every dollar counts. And just because the cap's going up, that doesn't mean anything. The free agents are just gonna free agents this upcoming offseason and the next offseason are going to just get more money. The cap going up only really matters if you have guys locked up long term, like a guy like Adam Fox right now, who's making 9.5. To where in 2, 3 seasons, yeah, that's great that you were able to get him locked up at the time, because 9.5 might be the norm for like a second pair defenseman in a couple of years. But when I look at, but at the end of the day, like you don't do this with, you don't do it with lesser players. And I'm not saying that JT Miller is a terrible player, but I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. And I'm sorry. Again, the only way that I could really feel differently about this is if Miller gives the production he's gave over the past 2 seasons for, I got to see it for at least 3 seasons here. Otherwise, I don't know. And the main thing is there better not be any issues in the locker room with him being here. And this is slightly inaccurate. This is slightly inaccurate. You don't gain cap if you're going over, if you're going over the, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. You don't gain cap if, so say the Rangers were at, because the cap's what even is the cap right now? 80 something million, 87 million, whatever it is. Say the Rangers were spending up to 85 and then they LTIR Phil Petal. If they brought in a guy that was making 3 million, then yes, that'd be accurate. But either way, I mean, you could trade a guy. It's not foreign to see guys traded with assets, say on another team's LTIR. I'm also very curious to see how the dynamic's going to work in that dressing room between JT Miller and Mika Zibanejad. I'm very curious to see how that dynamic's going to work, because everyone's comparing Mika to Pedersen. So if that's the case, then I'm very curious to see how this is going to go. I don't know. This is. I knew it was coming, but I'm still like, I'm still trying to process it. I really am. I'm very curious what the line combinations are going to look like too. Does JT Miller go on the wing? Is JT Miller going to? Is Mika going on the wing? Is JT Miller just going to slot in on the third line? I'm very curious what they're going to do with the lineup now. I wonder if he's going to play tomorrow. He'll either play tomorrow or at the Garden on Sunday. Very curious. This confirms Dolan's fingers are all over this. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not. I'm not disagreeing there, or I at least think somewhat. I'm just very worried right now with the culture of this team to begin with, which I was going to go live earlier, funny enough, to bring up the culture of this locker room and the culture of the team right now in terms of just discussing the whole thing that's going on with Jimmy VC because now he's frustrated after we heard Jones was and then Kako was at one point. I was actually going to go live in that debacle and start to discuss how much of a toxic environment this organization seems to be right now. And I get that VC, I get those guys are frustrated they're not playing, but we've seen them be silent in the past. It's very interesting that a lot of guys have spoke out openly with this. And if this is Drury's attempt to change the culture in the locker room, then I'm sorry, I don't trust it until I get a reason to trust it. I don't, because Chris Drury does not deserve the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion, and especially when it comes to culture right now, because right now it's toxic. It is toxic. So I don't know if how bringing in JT Miller is going to solve that or dictate that or anything, but in terms of what else the Rangers got, just to briefly mention there with Brandstrom, which again, literally have no clue why Larry Brooks called him a prospect when he's been in the league since 2019. That was good one, Brooksy. But Brandstrom, I'm not expecting much. We already have Brandstrom at home in Zach Jones. Sure, Brandstrom's a little bit more proven. He'll be the seventh defenseman once Jones gets moved. I really don't have many thoughts there. It just is what it is there. And I'd like him in the lineup, but I don't see Laviolette putting him in the lineup considering the fact that he didn't want to put Jones in the lineup so much. Or ever, I should say. So I don't see a world where Brandstrom's going to enter the lineup. And who was the other one? Jackson Dorrington. That's who I keep forgetting, which I actually did a bit of research when the names were first dropping. And I actually don't hate the prospects that they got in Dorrington. A 6th round pick in 2022, 20 years old. Um, I don't hate it. He's actually doing respectable um in Northeastern right now in the NCAA. Sure, maybe he's your next Victor Mancini. Maybe he is. So I don't hate that, but at the end of the day, I mean, time will only tell if he's going to make the NHL. I mean, he was a 6th round pick for a reason, so we'll see. And this is a very good point too. And this is an argument that I've made for a while now. What NYR for Life is saying here for the audio listeners. He's saying the other thing that worries me is JT Miller's play style. Players like him start to wear down earlier. So how many good years are left of him? That's been my question for a while because of the same exact thing that you mentioned and you laid out there is that his play style typically regresses at a younger age. So I completely agree there. Other GMs, Tulski fleece teams and get others to retain money, but our GM had this is where I can't this is where I don't understand people saying the Rangers fleeced Vancouver because a first round pick, a young middle six center, and a prospect for a guy who wanted out of the organization that Vancouver has openly said, and Jim Rutherford has said it himself. They have openly admitted that they want to get rid of this guy. How are you giving up? How are you even giving up a first in that deal? And again, I get if you're looking in terms of the players themselves on the surface, yeah, this is a fair trade, but the context of it matters to me. You're missing the point here, Rob. How many years is he going to be an 80 to a 100 point player? How many years is he going to be that type of player? But how are they going to trade? How are they trading Mika when he has a no move clause? Where is he waving to? Until we hear that there is a definitive place that Mika would waive his no move clause for, then sorry, but that doesn't mean too much. And the context absolutely does matter because I saw someone in the chat say it doesn't. It absolutely does. Context does matter. Okay, now here's my counter to this whole question here. Did you expect Mika Zibanejad, after being a point per game player for the past few seasons, to randomly just be on pace for less than 50 points the next season? That's my counter to that. All right, then get lost, Jimmy. Then get lost. Don't know why you're here if my opinion means nothing. Is Heedle any good? I'm a Canucks fan. Yeah, I like Phil Pito a lot. He definitely is a little streaky at points, but when he is on and scoring, it's electric to watch. And he does actually play more than he gets credit for, a respectable game in his own end. But I like Filipino, and I think that getting a little bit more of a chance in Vancouver is going to help him in terms of production. He won't probably eclipse as many points as you'd maybe want to see because I want to look up actually his career high in a season for points, but you won't get wowed in terms of the point production. I mean, he could probably be a respectable, consistent 50 to 60 point guy in Vancouver because I think getting the opportunity, as long as Vancouver does give him a little bit more of an opportunity in the top six and lets him, get on that power play, playing with a couple of respectable guys there, I think you could see him maybe eclipse the 50-point mark. The question obviously comes down to health with him. That's really where it comes down to is the health. Because every time he gets hit, I get worried that he is going to um that he's going to be out for a bit, but that's the only unfortunate part with him. And I get this. And listen, I'm not disagreeing. And I've made this point very clear earlier on in the stream. If the Rangers do get that type of production from JT Miller, then great. Then great. But all I know is that I want to see the production. I want to see it for a good amount of time over the contract because I don't feel like I don't like the idea of being stuck with another big contract. And there better not be any. I don't want to hear an article in a year or two about how JT Miller's causing issues in the locker room and how he wants out of the organization all of a sudden, or guys want out because of him. Because the problem for me is that this has happened multiple times with JT Miller where he has caused a headache. That is really the issue there. But if he is consistently a point per game or above, there's none of the drama. He plays that type of hockey for 3 years, 3 to 4 years of being here. I will shut the hell up. I will enjoy it. You will not hear me complain about JT Miller one more time. I will be very happy in hindsight with the trade. But I need to see it first. That's the thing. I need to see all of this go through first or go down first. And this is really what it comes down to, Brian. This comment's great. This is what it comes down to. This trade either has potential to be a I mean, I think that this is one of two ways. I think this either becomes a fleece job for the Rangers or it becomes a catastrophic trade. I don't see it going any other way, or I feel like there's no in between personally. And the problem is that there's more to back up for me, at least in my opinion from the outside. And again, I could be totally wrong and I want nothing more than to be wrong. But from the outside of it, there's more I feel like that could go wrong just because of the age, just because there's been drama in previous destinations, just because of the fact that he is on a significant contract. I have more worries of this being a problem. But again, if everything that I laid out before occurs to where there's no drama, he's a point per game player for at least 3 to 4 years of being here, and the Rangers, the most important thing, they better go out and actually make an effort to try to win this time. Not this year, because this year, in my opinion, is still a lost cause. But they better go out and actually give a respectable effort to putting a winning roster on the ice next season. Because if you're running it back and JT Miller's just the only change you're making, no, that's not good enough. I want to see major changes after the season still to show me that you actually do want to try to win. That's what it comes down to for me. Because last year still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It really does. Yes, the Rangers took the whole contract. I think for Vancouver, for the Canucks fans that are joining in, and just in general, if anyone cares what I think about Vancouver side of it, I think they did the best they could given the situation. I really do. I think that given the fact that he clearly wanted out, there was issues in the locker room, and all that other stuff. Given the context of it, I think Vancouver did, or got, I should say, a respectable return. But that's my opinion of that. I mean, I could be entirely wrong, but I just don't see how Vancouver was doing better than this package. You got a first round pick, you got a young middle six center, and a prospect who could honestly be on the Canucks roster by their next game if they really wanted to play him for a guy that wanted out of the organization. What do I think about the Rangers potentially getting Brandt Clark? I'd have to see it happen. Vancouver probably got the most useful guys for this year and next that they could have, plus a first. I think Vancouver did pretty good. This is my point. Yeah, I agree. I think that given the situation, Vancouver did a fantastic job in this deal. We're going to bring in Nick onto the stream. You were just live, right?
Yeah, me and Carson were gone for like an hour and change, man. I mean, I'll repeat real quick just some of the things that Carson and I were going over.
Is he joining?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Okay.
So you mind if I share my screen real quick? I'm just not to ruin everyone's day. I just want to talk rebuild for just 1 second.
How could you?
Right. What a terrible thing. So Carson and I went over this one earlier. Where's hockey? There it is. Okay. So the New York Rangers rebuild from the year 2017 through 2022. Here you go. You ready? Not a single player on this team anymore. One player on this team anymore. K'Andre Miller, arguably your worst defenseman this season. Two players
it probably could be gone by next season.
Could be gone by next season. You've got 3 players in the organization. Robertson will probably never play an NHL game. He might. Not with the Rangers.
Right now, he's probably like your 8th defenseman at this moment.
Yes. In our current state, he's
Ben Harper.
Oh,
Connor Mackey.
Right.
Zach Jones is 1 foot out the door.
Zach Jones 1 foot out the door, and you got a 4th liner. So
Zach Jones is in the press box and not even showing up to the press box at this point.
Yeah, he's just merely existing. Done. So in your first 3 years of your rebuild, so far what you have to show for it is a 4th line center. Let's move on. Arguably the best draft of the rebuild is still mid as fuck. Your first overall pick is probably a career top 6 player and nothing more than that. You've got Braden Schneider who fell off a cliff. Like I loved Schneider when he first came up. He was exciting. He was fighting, hitting, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Great. Completely fell off. Is that a result of where the team is at? Probably. Do I think there's a top 4 defenseman in Braden Schneider? Yes. But right now, no. Will Cooley, who was having a spectacular start to the season, like, oh my God, this guy could be a legitimate top 6 player. The Ryan Gropp hangover was a myth. It doesn't exist. They put him with Mika Zibanejad, and it is like somebody shot him with a Nerf gun in Minecraft. Dylan Garand will probably, or very well could be the best player in this draft class, and will be the best player in this draft class for another team.
Oh, but yeah, I was gonna say, because what's the problem there?
He's gonna rob
Wait,
behind
what?
Igor for like 3 years too.
Wait, why?
Yes.
Why would he be with another team if he's gonna be the best?
We've got about $100 million invested in our current starting goalie, who's not even outperforming the other goalies in the league.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to.
Don't worry, he'll get his no. Garand will get his chance when Igor needs his mental reset every 6 weeks.
That's right. So
Okay.
Garand might play 10 games a year with the Rangers. You got Brett Berard, who's right now like a middle 9 guy that'll never get a chance because it's the New York Rangers and we don't like young talent that plays hard. So he'll probably get traded in a deal in the offseason for a 33-year-old defenseman. And Matt Rempe. So far in your first 4 drafts, you've got a 4th liner, a top 6 forward, a second, third pair defenseman, a middle 6 forward, a good goalie for somebody else, a middle 6 forward, and a 4th liner.
I want
And
everyone to get
that's a
ready
rebuild.
for the Brett Berard for Cody Ceci trade at the deadline. That's gonna be fun, right?
I am ready for warfare. Oh, and by the way, year 5 of the rebuild, you've got, this is your entire draft class, and you've gotten 3 games out of it. From your draft class 4 years ago, you've gotten fucking 3 games, excuse my language. You've gotten 3 games out of that whole draft class. Yeah. That's what you got. Oh, and by the way, your only prospect that played NHL games in your 2022 class, you just traded him. Adam Sikora is no guarantee. He might be a bottom 6 forward. BMB is a nothing prospect. More likely not a nothing prospect. Noah Laba might have a future in the NHL. Noah Laba is actually not doing that bad in college right now. He's a Hobie Baker nominee. He will not win it, but he's a nominee. Cool. All right, so you got maybe another bottom 6 forward there. Maxime Barbashev, who's playing in the Coast right now.
They're gonna waste it away
Is Zach
anyway.
Carpa.
So like,
Yeah.
what's the point? They're gonna waste it away anyway. So
Yeah.
it's like
You've got nothing. You got
the
nothing.
next generation of crap. Like
Literally, you've got
the
1,
guys
2,
that they're just
3,
gonna stick
4,
into the
5,
bottom
6.
6 or in the press
Yes.
box. It's
Yes.
unbelievable.
This was the most fumbled rebuild in the history of. So anyways, so after this trade, that's what you're looking at. Also, let's look at the JT Miller for Ryan McDonough trade. You ready for this one?
Oh, did you guys see my text in the group chat about this? About that
No,
trade?
what'd you put?
I said earlier in the group chat, I said that, like, put this in the perspective. The Rangers, like, I at least look at it this way. I feel like they gave up more today for JT Miller, who wanted out of the organization and was causing issues in Vancouver, than they got for him and McDonough back when they were starting the rebuild.
Oh, they absolutely gave up. Okay, so just to put it into perspective for you, if you look at this trade right now as it stands, the Rangers traded Ryan McDonough, a first-round pick, Philip Hedl, Victor Mancini, for Domestikov, Howden, Hayek, a first-round pick that you ended up trading for a first-round pick, that you ended up trading for Vladimir Tarasenko for 19 games. Cool. Great. Oh, wait. Carl Henriksen. Yes. Oh, the second-round pick that's no longer in the organization. Shucks. But wait. We traded Brett Howden.
Wait, he's won a Stanley Cup, that guy, hasn't he?
Yes. He's won
Oh.
a Stanley Cup.
With
But
which
we
team?
got Noah Laba. So you've effectively traded McDonough, reacquire Miller, Hedl, a first, Victor Mancini, the team's arguable best defensive prospect right now, for Noah Laba.
Did Brett Howden win that cup with the Rangers, by the way, or?
You're driving me to drink right now. I see what you're doing. But anyways, yeah, we traded all that for Noah Laba. Ah, woo! Yeah! The blue shirt, yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I don't know, man. All I said earlier in my stream is that I tried to lay out positives and how
Oh man.
this could go right,
What?
but like I laid out before, the problem is there's just too much to back up that the worst will happen versus the better of this. Because basically what I laid out is you're going to need him to be a point per game player for the next for the next at least I would say 3 seasons
He's
here.
also going to have to He's also going to have to configure on the power play with Mika, which I would love to see. That'd be hilarious, right?
Yeah, where's he even going to go on the power play? I guess you take Trocheck off and then put him
Is
in
he
the bumper.
Trocheck?
I don't even know.
Power play?
Just put him in front of the net. Just put him in front of the net
No, Chris
With
Kreider's
Kre-
there.
with Kreider on both posts. Just. Oh my god. This is like. God.
I'm drinking lemonade. Nothing else. It's a non-alcoholic lemonade.
This is really my biggest issue is that
Strong lemonade.
they're giving up their 1st round pick now, but they didn't want to last year when it actually made sense.
Yes. That's another thing. That's another thing we were talking about. Like last year, if they would have made this trade last year, granted, Miller was having a much better year last year, it would have been much more palatable because, like, you know what? We're on pace to win the President's Trophy. We're going all in. We want to win. Go after this guy who could absolutely bolster your top 6, on pace for 100 points. Fine, I can get behind it. Not when you're 22nd in the friggin' league. It doesn't make like now. Right now, it doesn't make sense. Last year it did. Now it doesn't.
There's no he didn't. There's no proof that he had no. Who? Really? We're kidding me. You're kidding me, right?
No, there
There's
there
no
is
proof?
proof to this, Ice. There's
This is all
proof to
he's
this.
known for.
There's proof to this. He
Part
even
of the reason he was
Jake,
traded.
there's proof from the horse's mouth himself. He said himself it took him 2 trades to wake him up.
Yep.
And then he still wanted out of Vancouver. Did we see Vince's tweet? Oh God, Nico, what did Vince tweet? I'm very
Yep.
curious.
There you go. Yep, I just saw it. Motherfucker. Trocheck trying to drive himself out of town is what it sounds like.
This is what I actually didn't even get into that, which I was gonna say. So for the people
Yeah.
watching what Vince tweeted, it also sounds like Trocheck, who's very close with Miller, was a big advocate of this deal. I've said it before, but my gut tells me Trocheck will be the next player to wear the C. I was gonna say, I think he's gonna get the C because we saw it with Jacob Trouba, how they just kept bringing in his best friends and all of his pals and recommendations. It just reeked of that. That's what I had a feeling it was, is that this is just because Trocheck's gonna get the C. They wanted to bring in a friend. I don't know. I had a feeling that's why they did it too.
Killer, man. Just killer.
It's just the problem is what I laid out earlier is that for this to go right, it's like, what are the chances that he's a point per game throughout 3 to 4 seasons while he's here? What are the chances that the Rangers win within those next 3 to 4 years? And what are the chances he doesn't cause a headache within these next 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, you're banking on a lot to go right here, dude.
That's the problem that I have, because I said it before. If everything goes right with this, then fine. But the problem is also, is this the start of a retool, or is this the Rangers saying, "All right, we're just putting JT Miller in, and we're gonna run it back with the same team."
Mm-hmm.
One of Mika or Kreider has to be gone by the deadline. Like, there's just no way.
At the very latest, the offseason, yeah. Because if they're not, then what are we doing? Tying ourselves up to Miller, Mika, and Kreider all for next season. I'm sorry, but one of those two need to go.
Another thing we went over on our stream earlier was so Filipinos played one more game than JT Miller this year. And JT Miller only has 4 more even strength points in those 4 games.
I'm Orange Boy now. Sick.
Orange boy.
Hold on. All right. I'm not even talking that loud. That's probably why.
Don't worry, pitchers and catchers report soon. Let's Joe.
PSL boys.
The thing I don't get of this deal is that there was the previous deal that turned down that Lindgren instead of Mancini. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like I'm trying to figure out what the hell the plan is for the defense, because I figured, okay, Mancini will come up next year. Don't you fucking dare. I figured that Mancini would just come up and take one of the spots next year. Now, I don't know what the hell the defense is going to look like.
Cody Ceci, and then we bring back Eric Gustafson on league mid.
Yeah.
See, I just don't get why Canucks fans are upset. Like, I think given the situation, they did.
You just got better.
Yeah.
I think given the situation too, they did great. I think given the fact that he wanted out, he was on the contract he is, and was causing issues in the locker room. I think Vancouver did great.
There's no proof of that. Wrong. No proof.
Yeah, my fault. I think they did great, though, considering the context of that.
Oh, another thing we did on stream, too. The New York Rangers cap situation going into the next offseason. Assuming they sign Cooley to a bridge deal, 2.5. Edstrom and Rempe to $1 million or less each. They signed Miller to a 7-year deal. Yep. Yeah. Like a 7x7 with Miller, which is probably what he's going to get. Even if he got a 6x7. We'll even do this one. Let's say he even gets a 6x7.
Pull up a Puckpedia GM. Let's run this through.
All right. Just don't throw up in your mouth when you see the Rangers have negative cap space and have holes on their roster with it.
Yeah. Well, and you also have, what is it, Othman and Ballard in the top 6?
Yes.
Right? I've already ran through this exercise a couple of times, and I've and it's been interesting to say the least.
And the only way it makes sense is if you have teams lining up for Mika or Kreider, which is not going to happen. So
what's the cap going up to next year? 95? Is that what they thought it was?
Cap's going up.
95 or 95.5.
Okay.
I think I'll fact check that one.
Yeah, why don't you fact check that for me, sweetheart?
Yeah, 95.5.
Okay. I'll put it at 95.
Cap's going up. Stop being upset, you nerd.
You fucking geek.
Yeah, just because the cap's going up, that means Phil.
Yeah, supply and demand has that. There's no concept of that. Supply and demand does not exist.
It's like the Met fans that are like, give Pete Alonso what he wants, with no concept of the fact that there's other areas on the roster that allocate. And the difference is that's a soft. There's no salary cap.
You have the deep pockets of your owner, so it doesn't even matter. But it's like.
So assuming all those guys sign for that money, which they won't, they'll get a little bit more. So right now,
your screen to.
Oh, sorry. So this is what you got going into next season. Right, meow. So this is your lineup with all your RFA signed, Cooley bridge deal, Rempe bridge deal.
I think Cooley gets more than 2.5.
Yeah.
Because remember, the cap's going up.
Cooley's more healthy than Hedel. He'll probably get more.
I think he gets 3.5.
No shit, really?
I could be wrong, but I think he gets 3 to 3.5.
We'll do 2.9
because that'll get it originally.
Heedle got a 2-year bridge
it
deal, like 2
4x4?
and change. I'm pretty much giving Cooley this because that'll be roughly the percentage that Lafreniere and Kako got on their bridge deal coming off their ELCs. That was the thought process.
I'm sorry, Leo, but I don't think there's any way I could zoom in on it unless I took our face cams off.
Is that better?
There we
Okay.
go.
That works.
There you
too,
go.
A little
yeah.
better. So right now, you've got this. You've got one guy in the press box. You've got 2 entry-level contracts in the top 6, top 9, whatever you want to call it. You need 2 defensemen and a backup
Matthew
goalie.
Robertson is your second pair defenseman right now.
Well, the backup goalie situation, I'd hope Garand
He'll be
gets
gone.
the gig.
That's not going to be good for him either way. So
Okay, let's go back to RFAs. Let's bring in more Rangers RFAs. So you've got. I mean, I don't know, dude. Fucking. Even if it is Garand, let's say it is Garand, it's going to be Boyko, right? So let's say your backup talent Boyko gets $900,000 low end,
You're selling him very low there.
very low.
That's Talon Boyko.
You don't throw him in. All right, let's say Brancham did great. Let's fucking bring him in and just put him on the bench. Okay. So you still need, now with $2.9 million in cap space, you need 2 defensemen. One of them for your top pair. Who are you calling up?
the Ryan Lindgren contract is going to be such a steal.
The
only
This is like putting 2 entry-level contracts in your top 9 forwards.
and the problem is, like, even if they move Kreider and get out of that, it's like, that's not even getting you a top pair defenseman
Even
anymore.
looking at that,
6.5 million. It's not getting you that.
That's if you get rid of all the 6.5 million too.
Yeah,
we already put
that's
this on
true. They
Nick's
probably
stream.
have to retain.
Mm-hmm.
We already put this on Nick's stream, but even with Cooley in the top 6, I mean, his defense is going to get even worse with
Yes.
Miller there. So
And here's your defenseman in free agency, by the way. You know you're not buying on any of these guys. You can't afford any of these
Celtics,
guys.
Shaq at the top.
Yeah, 100%. So,
Filter it by points.
you can't because it'll throw in other leagues.
Just click on NHL only. There's a
Oh,
box.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm fucking special needs. Okay.
sick.
Okay, so here you go. You ain't getting any of these. By the way, you need 2 of these guys. So remember, you only got $3 million to do that. Which 2 of these guys are you getting? I can tell you right now, none of these guys are.
Gustafson.
Yeah.
Big Gus.
I
Get
mean,
the Gus bus.
The guy that I thought would have worked out the most is
Bro, it's Cody
Um,
Ceci. It's 100% Cody Ceci. I'm telling you, he's
Yeah.
coming to the Rangers.
We'll run 4 right-handed defensemen.
I thought Chikrin would have
Yeah.
made the most sense, but he's gonna get get double digits now.
Dude, he could. If he's pacing for it, he's gonna be a 20-goal defenseman and not even play a full season.
No, he's gonna get double digits with the cap going up. He's gonna get double digits.
You're gonna get Oli Mata and shut up. Like you're gonna get like 2 of these guys.
Well, at least Oli Mod just made the Utah Hockey Club's second team.
Right.
Fucking
Century.
Jack Johnson.
Bro!
A Jack
We'll bring back
Johnson
McElrath.
reunion.
Hold on. If we bring back McElrath, we'll have our 2009, 2010, and 2011 first-round picks. It's like the rebuild happened in work. Yeah. I hate it
Turn
here.
back the clock. but
there-
everyone's in their 30s.
Realistically, is there any
Chad, yeah, just Chad Ruedel. Bring him back.
Yeah.
Big Chad.
defenseman that we possibly think the Rangers could get for Chris Kreider?
Well, this is the first thing you have to do.
Seth Jones.
This
This is what
honestly-
we went through. I'm telling you right now, no, unless
Honestly,
you're buying
this
really
could be
well.
realistic, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you swap Chris Kreider and get Chicago to retain on Seth Jones, like you're looking at that.
But then you have 4 right-handed defensemen again.
Fucking
So you also
Seth
need to
Jones and Keandre Miller on the same fucking team.
Wait, I just
Oh my-
realized Will working on the second pair. Shit.
Shit. So Chris Kreider's contract next year is he still has a 15-team no trade list. So by default, I think you take out just the bottom 15 teams in the NHL, right?
The problem is, Amanda, like I don't know who's taking Mika.
No one. Yeah, and he still needs to waive his no movement clause because he's a
Sweden?
full
Like,
one.
here's the thing.
Have
Okay,
Sweden work camps.
if they move Mika and Kreider, that's great. But also, who is replacing them? They're still gonna have to spend to replace them because what you're gonna bring up prospects instead? Then why'd you get JT Miller in the first place?
They're literally gonna get Seth Jones. Seth Jones or Cody Cece, dude. I'm telling you, this.
I just made myself even more mad. Wait, because if they move Mika and Kreider, who is replacing
Josh.
them?
Only one. Josh.
No one.
Only one can hope. Only one can hope that he bullies Mika out of here,
Because
There's
and then
There-
and then that
nobody-
would. Yeah.
if they're replacing them with prospects, then why are you getting JT Miller in the first place? Why are you not just rebuilding at that point?
You know what's crazy, Evan? We make nothing doing this, and you just asked that question. Do you think any asshole in the Rangers front office asked that question and didn't get shot on site with a Nerf gun in Minecraft?
That's where I'm trying.
Dare
to
you
say-
question me?
The smartest guy in the room.
I'm trying my best here to justify this shit. Like I seriously am trying. I'm not even being
You can't even
sarcastic here.
justify Heedle for Miller. You can't even justify that.
Can't.
Why? For what reason?
And
Like,
there is no, there's no, and also again, I repeat again, which one of these teams is trading for Chris Kreider and taking on their full contract? None of them.
chasing the. Why choose between Cody Cece and Seth Jones when you can have both Cody Cece and Seth Jones? You can walk and chew gum at the same fucking time.
Like,
I'm really like trying here to not be entirely an asshole and like entirely the bad guy here because I'm trying to make it make sense to a point. And again, even if those things go right, where the hell are you going with this roster right now? Like, forget about that for a second. Let's just say everything does go right and JT Miller is a point per game. Where the hell are
Mike
you going with
Morrow
this
in the chat,
roster?
Don't make me pissed off even more. Don't even piss me. Don't piss me off even more.
Like, I just want direction here. Little
There is
bro
none.
wants a
Don't have
direction,
one.
but don't got direction money. Like, fuck.
What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. Like, besides the players on the roster, like, who do the Rangers have at all to make the team better? Because free agency, the free agent class after the top like 3 guys is mid, and
It's
you're
the pick-
you're
I mean,
sure
we
as
got the
hell.
pick we got with Borgen, right?
Oh yeah, good thing we got Will Borgen locked up. But you realistically, you're not shopping in the top of the market next year. Where the hell are you making this team better next year?
You're not. Well,
You're not. You're going to the Cup this year.
also
JT
to
Miller.
add insult to injury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of your 6 highest paid forwards at the end of next season are going to be, drum roll please, 32 years and older.
Could we also do one more fun little thing here?
Yes.
All right, hover over Panarin. Hover over Zibanejad. Miller. Laugh. Kreider. Trocheck. Now go find Igor and Fox. So Fox, Igor, what do all those guys have in common for next year?
Full no movement clauses?
Trade protection of some sort.
God damn.
Oh, I forgot. Hover over Will Borgen too.
Oh yeah, Will
Yeah.
Borgen. Yeah.
How the fuck could I forget? He just signed
The
here.
untouchable 17 games of Will Borgen.
Holy shit.
I'm surprised Sam Carrick didn't get a full no move.
Oh my god.
The 3 years was the no move.
You know what's fucking hilarious though is Carrick has been probably our best forward in the past 2 weeks.
Unironically, he has. He unironically has.
I'm not even joking today. I was driving home from work. I had a great week at work. It wasn't busy. Played hockey this week. Like, it was a great week. I'm like, oh God, it's Friday. I got no plans tonight. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna play video games. I'm not even gonna drink. I'm just gonna hang out. Literally the second I turned on my game, play a little Sid Meier's Civ, right? Just chill, listen to some music. Your text comes through, and I'm like, okay, time to start drinking and streaming. And here we are.
Yeah, the second that I was in a great mood and I was in the middle of a conversation. I was smiling, and then all of a sudden the smile goes off my face, and my brother's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "They fucking traded for Miller." And he's like, "You're fucking lying." I'm like, "No. What did you expect?" And he's like, "No, please tell me that's fake." He said to me,
they were the whole market for him. Like,
he's like,
yeah.
"It collapsed." He said it collapsed last time. Maybe it will again. I'm like, "No, the trade calls in. It's done." And he's like, "Fuck me."
Dude, it's actually, you know what's funny too? If this was the deal that ended up getting the Rangers JT Miller, this is the JT. Why couldn't this just have been done 2 weeks ago? Like, why did it need it's at the finish line, he's being held out?
Why couldn't it have been done last year?
Yeah, like seriously. Like, if this is like all that it was, what was the holdup? You got Brandstrom and some other fucking no name. Like, that was the holdup. That is what stopped you 2 weeks ago.
But Victor, if you feel they're not making the
defensemen.
playoffs, then why would you have wanted them to trade their first round pick? Why would it be okay if they trade their first?
And,
It makes
and again,
no sense.
not
Watch
at all.
they have the 14th pick this year.
But
You
again,
can't. They missed the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs this
And
year,
have the 14th pick.
I'm serious. There is no justification for Chris Drury keeping his
damn
job.
straight, pal.
There isn't.
Damn straight.
I mean, this just
There's no justification.
the problem is this just signaled that he's safer than we maybe thought. To me,
Dude.
this did, because there is no way that he would be allowed to make this trade, because Dolan I feel like Dolan had a say in this deal too.
Dolan has a say in fuck. I swear to God, as much as I think everyone else is a mouthpiece for Chris Drury, I think every GM that's ever stepped foot in the building is a mouthpiece for Dolan. I think the only person that ever had any say over Dolan was Glenn Sather / Emperor Palpatine. Oh, fuck me, bro.
This is.
This is the shitty hand that we were dealt. But don't worry, cap's going up. Yes.
Oh.
I was saying earlier too on the other stream, there are two things that leave me somewhat hopeful right now. Number one is that Canucks fans are pissed that Miller got traded at all. So clearly there is a love thing with JT Miller, and the fans love watching him play, which means, hey, maybe we're just missing something. Unlikely, but just maybe. Because Vancouver Canucks fans, who are notoriously haters of their own players, love this fucking guy. So maybe there's something there. Two, he legitimately might bully Mika and Kreider out of town. He might.
I hope so. Oh man, I hope so.
The problem is, Leo, it's not even just about Miller himself as we're running through this, because again, I laid out everything. If it goes right, then great. I'd be more than happy to be wrong about that, and I will gladly admit it. And if he plays like a 1C, great. The problem is that what the hell is the direction with this team right now? Because I just don't.
What's the direction of
look
his
at the
play that
cap.
he's gonna play like a 1C? What's the direction of his actual play, like individually?
I mean, that too. Like,
he hasn't been that good this year, like at all.
That's the problem too, because he's aging.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue I have is looking at this cap situation. Where the hell does the team get better next year? And if your answer is through prospects, and young pieces, then again, why are you not rebuilding or retooling at that point? Why are you adding a
Yes.
32-year-old to the roster?
To build off of your point too, Evan, you can do that with like, oh, prospects are going to come and fill holes. If you're the Tampa Bay Lightning a few years ago when they went to 3 straight Stanley Cups, when you have your Kucherov, Stamkos, Point, Hedman, Vessel, when you have all those things, then you can do that. The Rangers don't have a Kucherov. They've got a fucking 34-year-old Artemi Panarin. They've got a failing Mika Zibanejad. They've got an Alexei Lafreniere who got paid and dipped, who a .55 point per game pace since he got his extension. You've got Chris Kreider, who's got 2 assists the entire fucking season, making $6.5 million this year and 2 more years. You've got JT Miller, who's going to be 33 years old at the end of next season, 32 years old at the end of this season, that you're hoping is going to perform like he did in the past, which is insane that you're investing in a 30-plus asset for what he did in the past. Fucking crazy. You're banking on Vincent Trocheck, whose game is fast feistiness, to continue to give you fast feistiness at the age of 32 years old next season as well.
And even JT Miller plays that brand of hockey too, where it's like, when is that going to regress? Because I talked about it before, and sorry to cut you off, but I was talking about
to become one of your prospects to become a top 6 skater,
which none of them are.
Yeah,
none of them are capable of it.
Sorry to cut you off before, but I was gonna say too that just like, again, with Miller and in terms of the regression, nobody expected Mika to drop off the way that he did.
Yes.
Going into this year. No one thought that he was going to be a 50-point guy. Chris Kreider's on pace for 30-something points this year. So
he won't even get that much.
There's a real concern that this could be regression, the start of regression with him, what we're seeing this year. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to question it. If things turn around, then that's different. And I agree with this, that the best outcome is that Meek and Kreider get punted to the moon and Miller and Trocheck set the new culture. But again, my other issue is, if all works out and that happens, that is great. But what is the plan for next year's roster? I just can't stop asking that question, because
Panarin?
You move Meek and Kreider. That's literally the only way you can make a reasonable.
You got to move Panarin then.
Yeah,
you have to, because Meek and Kreider aren't getting you anything of value, because you're gonna have to attach assets. Maybe Kreider could, just because he's making less money, maybe, but even then that's a stretch. You're gonna have to package something with Mika to get out of that contract, and with Kreider, at most you're getting a depth defenseman or a depth forward. You're not getting anything good, so you have to move Panarin if you want to realistically make it make sense for next season. Otherwise, you're punting a year for what?
So to build, I'm going to build off of your points. Number one, no one's taking Kreider next season at full value. He's got a 15-team no trade clause. So if he wants to be a dick, he could just block every team that realistically could afford him. Number one. Number two, he'll be 34 years old next season at the start of the year. With 2 years left at $6.5 million, he's going to finish the season with maybe 30 points. You'll have to cut his salary and have to trade him. Number two, Mika Zibanejad, full no movement clause. If he does not want to go, he will not go. If he does decide he's going to go, you have to find a team that's going to take a guy who's on pace for 40-something points this season, maybe 50-something. I could be wrong. At $8.5 million for the next 5 years after this season, I think, right? 5? Let me double check. Yeah, 4 years after this season.
It's gotta be Panarin that gets
Panarin. Full no movement clause. If he's willing to waive it, that's the guy you move. You could probably do pretty well for him. I did have
he's
thought.
Expiring next year.
Yes.
So
yes, I did have a thought that if Chicago is still looking to add a forward, I don't think it would be Chris Kreider for Seth Jones. I could see a world where Chicago would do Mika Zibanejad for Seth Jones if Mika Zibanejad would waive to go to Chicago, which is no guarantee. No guarantee at all.
Probably not. He didn't want to wait for Vancouver.
Right, exactly. So I think no matter what
and
happens,
even then, Jones, you're getting an extra year on that contract if you take him, I think.
Yes.
Or yeah, you are. I think you get the extra year.
Yes.
I could be wrong. I don't know. It's either the same or you get one more year. Either way, like, And with this, it's like, yeah, if they're punting till 2026, then again, why are you making this trade at all? Take a step back, get young assets, retool, and then that's what I realistically want them to do all along is take a step back, let these prospects come up, let them develop into their own roles, let Lafreniere maybe get a bigger time role, and maybe he does flourish again in that role, and
Mhm.
see what you have in all of these young prospects. Start drafting more. And
Yeah.
then when your McDavids, when your Eichels potentially become available, that's when you jump and spend your cap, not on the trade market right now and shrink your window
Yes.
because realistically, if they don't win within the next 2 to 3 years, you're rebuilding anyway.
They don't
Do
even
we
have that
see
much time, dude. They don't. 3
do
years from now, they're all gonna be 35 plus.
3 years is a stretch even, yeah. Do you guys realistically see them winning in 2 to 3 years with this roster? I know
No.
my answer,
No.
but
they're gonna be like Washington Capitals cap hill at that point.
the only
Right?
way that is if everything goes right for them and the prospects actually are better than we think.
And
And
none
these
of them will be.
prospects,
We're not the
if
Penguins. We don't do that.
if Gabe and Othman truly become top 6 level forwards, that's the only way you have just a chance because you still have to rebuild an entire
And they'll
blue
just be
line,
buried
too.
on the fourth line anyway. So, like, what's the point at this point?
I think this is just it. This is Drury's version.
This
of
might be it.
Hail Mary.
It
move.
might be it. This might be it.
Yeah. That's the case. Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something that Vancouver fans are not like. I feel like I'm missing something. Why Vancouver fans are so upset about this?
That's
Your
one
forward
of the
depth
few things
just
I'm
got
holding out hope
better.
for.
Your forward
And-
depth just got better. Your defensive depth just got better. Your 5v5 play just got better
And you got a first,
You got a
for a guy
first-round
that wanted
pick.
out.
for a guy that wanted out, and you retain no salary. So
Yes.
what am I missing?
If they liked Miller, I get being upset, but at the same time, again, considering the situation and the context, I
He's
don't
not
know
the
how
guy to build
Vancouver
around
fans-
at what is it, age 32 or whatever? Like, he's not the guy to build around.
No, the Canucks realize they should be getting younger. They're doing what I would have wanted the Rangers to do. They're getting younger. They're
Yes.
retooling, reassessing where they are, and then they're going to try to jump back in this thing either next year or the year after, probably, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's another thing too. Them not retaining salary hurts, man. They got what they wanted.
We said no. I mean, we legitimately said if Mika and Miller are on the same fucking payroll, we are screwed.
Yeah.
You're 1, 2, 3 at the center core, make it a combined. Was that 16 and a half? 16 and a half was 17 and change. Was you're $22 million. So you have
And
over
one of those centers, has played like an AHL player this year.
Yes, and even to build on it further, Evan, you made a point of like signing guys like McDavid or Eichel. Well, now you have $8 million less to do so because Miller's contract runs through their free agency.
Yeah. And even if you move, I don't know, that's my problem, though. It's like if you move Meek and
Grassenby.
Ryder.
That's funny. That's funny. Sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
The problem is that if you move Meek and Kreider and you spend on this free agent market, one, who are you getting? Two, is that better than what you could have done where you could have and I know that this is an insane word to throw out there with the Rangers, but hear me out for a second. If you were patient for the market to actually have talented guys in 2 to 3 years and then go out and spend
Right.
some cap.
Right. And you know what? I will say this. What would be a lot more attractive is ignore the LTIR thing. It's
Just to open up the cap.
yes. This okay. Going into this offseason with $15 million in cap space.
Is
And
that
this
15
as
on
your
LTIR or 15?
on LTIR plus just 18 and change. Or just under 18.
Yeah, 17 and change. Okay.
So you've got this. It's like, okay, you know what? Something could be done with this because you've got $18 million now to sign 2 defensemen, a top 6 winger, a middle 6 center. That is
so
something that
much.
is doable with $18 million, especially considering the fact that you could trade Keandre Miller to get that top 6 forward or a different defenseman. Like there are other things you can now
So-
do with that money. But like,
So we
with,
get Trevor Zegras. We're all good.
oh,
right?
that's a good. Oh, dude, hold on.
We got this.
Duh.
I hate that.
Yeah, I mean,
actually,
come on.
I hate that actually like is a realistic possibility if this became.
Isn't it hilarious that
scenario.
this team actually looks better not having to see those 2 idiots' names? The team
Yeah.
actually looks better.
But it's
Twins, da,
also-
da, da.
It's also again like they would have to 17 million to fill that much of the roster out.
Miller and Mika locked up.
You
Until
you say
2030.
that much. I mean, you figure right here, 5 million, 3 million, 8
And-
million. You got
and-
10 million
But
for
in
2
this cap
defensemen.
economy, are you getting a second line left winger?
You're not getting a point per game stud, but
Okay,
And-
let's look
and
at
not
the
that I'm
free agent
advoc-
class. Let's play.
Yeah. I'm
play a
not
little pretend.
advocating to build through free agency because that is not the way to do things. However, if you were, you could put Zucker in the top 6. I bet you probably get him for 5 or less. Palmieri, Besser, because you have to give him term. I think you're looking to give guys 1-year deals, like rentals, like guys you just have, one and done, see what happens. You're not bringing this fucking guy back. Jake Evans, okay, that's like a low risk buy. Like you give him $3 million for 2 years.
For the
And see what
third line,
happens. Yes, for
the
your
third
3C.
line,
For your 3C.
the only way this could go out, work in the Rangers' favor in any way,
hmm
is because there could be a world this happens, if guys on the free agent market are only going to sign 1 to 2 year deals because they want to wait
Yeah.
for the cap to go up further.
And if that's the case, I think you fucking
Patrick Kane reunion.
bruh. I think if guys are willing to sign 1-year deals and bet on themselves, I think you try to get Brock Nelson. I'm a massive Brock Nelson fan, dude. Sam Bennett,
I love a nice big Brock.
Brock the Rock with a massive Sam Bennett
Oh,
would be a fucking excellent dude. Imagine
Bennett,
a center core of
Bennett wants
four.
term though. It's
He
already
does.
been reported.
He absolutely does.
Sam Bennett makes way too much sense. They're not doing that.
No,
It's a
Bennett.
good point. 28 years old. He's not on the wrong side of things. But dude, I will say this: Miller, Trocheck, Bennett as your 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you have a motherfucker of a center core.
You got
Bennett's going to Seattle. He wants like
He's gonna
7
get
or
7.
8 million.
He's gonna get it too.
He wants 7 years. I'm not entertaining that.
No, absolutely. But
if they,
you're not getting Ben. Brock Nelson, I'd be in on Brock Nelson because he'd replace Kreider plus. I think he's a better
The
player.
thing too with Nelson, that could be a deal that's short term because he's 33.
Right. Claude Giroux, maybe. I don't. If he doesn't retire, like
He didn't
is
want
an
to. He
option.
didn't want to
option.
come here at the deadline a couple seasons ago. I can't see.
38 years old, he might change his mind. Like it's not impossible. I think Zucker is realistic. Marchand's going to Toronto.
I
Not
think
even
Giroux
joking,
finishes it out in Ottawa or he goes back
get
to Philly. I
Marchand
just
coming
can't.
here.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I can't see.
Unless you want Panarin to waive his no trade clause, you put Marchand.
I can't see though.
None of these guys are taking 1-year deals. None of those guys are.
No, especially Ehlers isn't.
And then when the cap goes up, fucking Alex Tuck will be available, man. Age 30.
Well, and you know what
I
too? I
wish.
mean, you could look at RFAs. Like maybe some of these guys are try to force their way out of town, but like there's no one. I don't really see any of these guys forcing their way out of wherever they're at. LaFerriere would be pretty dope, but he's not. Mason McTavish for Keandre Miller was talked about earlier this year, but again, I'm not really. These are all like lateral moves.
Could get Yanni Gord.
Laurel.
The only thing that worries me is how much he's going to want on his contract.
Plus, he had hip surgery today.
Oh, well, yeah, he's already out the window then.
He had David Peterson surgery. He's all good.
He's already out the window to 90% of Ranger fans because they didn't want
Right.
Kane back after hip surgery. So
Right.
Never mind
Oh, no,
that.
yeah, I think it was hip surgery.
Gensel's finger
Was it
was
hip?
also very concerning as well.
Hip, or maybe it was something with his. No, I think it was his hip today.
Let's not forget Gensel's pinky. That was even more
Yes.
concerning to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what would happen to his career. I think his career just completely went down the toilet after that, didn't it?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah,
Pinky injuries are no joke.
completely.
I don't know, dude. There's no teams that are gonna be
Oh,
like
5 to 7
no.
weeks. All right, maybe it wasn't a hip injury then. All right.
He
I
had
don't know then.
surgery. Oh, maybe it was the hernia. Maybe it was a hernia.
Oh, okay. That makes more
NYC
sense
does a
then.
better
All right.
job of building skyscrapers than the Rangers do. Player development outside of Kreider and Loff. I mean, Loff is like, I mean, they haven't even. I mean, he's so lost in his own zone. I mean, like as an overall full NHLer, like there still is like a lot left to be desired with him.
Bro, we could trade for Kadri.
Yeah, Drury was horny for him at one point.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't see anybody that's available. That
Wait, we need a third. Wait, we would need a third line center.
Yeah.
Where's Adam Henrique at?
Oh, fucking facts.
Where's Adam Henrique?
No, we can't move Kako for him.
Facts. Yeah, there's nothing, dude. I don't know, man. Moving Kreider and Mika make it easier to do stuff, but I don't know who's all gonna be available.
What the hell do you even trade? Like, I'm trying because a defenseman that I've wanted and could be possible to get, or I thought was possible to get, now I don't know who the hell you move, is Bowen Byram. I
Yeah,
would
but
like
that's-
him,
yeah,
but
if
who
he's
the hell do you
available,
move?
yeah. Fuck. Good luck. Actually, I did have an idea for a 3C. Something a drum I've been beating for a while now. Where the fuck is he at?
Is it Archibald?
Trent Frederick.
Rangers trade Coco for nothing. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but that
I mean, he did it twice. I don't know.
Kako's a point per game now. Hooray!
Trent Frederick could actually.
It
be-
wasn't going to happen here. It wasn't
Well-
going to happen here. Again, it's like
Yeah, I'm tired of the revisionist history with Kako. And
it's,
you know what the main thing with Kako though is here for everyone that's sitting here saying, well, he finally figured it out. He broke out. How many times, Nick and I especially, did we come on here and scream that they rushed the rebuild?
Yes.
Imagine they actually just stuck the course and gave those guys chances like
Mhm.
Kako instead.
Yep.
Instead, he was a scapegoat for the playoffs.
Pahalam. God damn it, dude. And Gus Nyquist could actually be a guy that you could get on a sneaky good deal. Like you give him like one. Oh, he's gonna be fucking 36. Never mind. Eric
We don't even need to
Robinson.
use.
Wait a minute. Now, all right. Wait,
Eric
Eric Robinson. I forgot he's a free agent. All right.
The Rangers aren't smart at the sign.
changed my mind.
I'm gonna stop
back
you
He's
there.
on.
going to the Devils.
I mean,
going
dude-
to every he's going to every Metro team besides
Yeah,
Besides
the
except
Rangers.
for the Rangers.
He's the next Aaron Asham. Just doesn't go to the Rangers though.
I mean,
How about
if the-
Vetrano?
He just signed an extension.
Yeah, he just got an extension. Yeah.
But I mean, if they signed Jake Evans and kind of made him like the guy that you could move up and down the lineup, like I like Jake Evans, dude. Jack Rossovich.
You fucker.
Wait. We need a third line center. Don't we have that guy named that young upcoming prospect Jake Lecision?
Oh my
Don't we have
God,
him?
Jake the Snake.
Wait,
How did we
Nemestikov's
miss
available.
that?
Nemestikov's
miss
available.
that?
We could think about that. Now we could have Miller and Nemestikov on the same team, and they were traded for each other.
Whoa.
Think about that.
God damn it.
Checkmate, Tampa.
Enjoy your 2 cups, assholes. We got
Suck it.
both
Suck it.
Nemestikov and Miller now. How about that?
Suck it.
Let me look at the standings. I mean, there's
Fuck.
Utah. Dude, none of these teams are
Oh
trading.
my
guys.
God.
Mikkel Granlund, Henry Okiaru. I think Granlund's going to get overpaid, honestly, this offseason. He's having a sneaky good year.
Why
Yogi
don't
Haru-
we just move Carrick to 3C?
Yoki Haru would make sense, but the problem is
Good.
we have enough third pair defensemen at home right now, so it's like
hmm
I don't know.
Alex Tuck being a pending UFA. I mean, yeah, but
We have so
A
many
first-round
press
pick.
box defensemen. It's like not even funny.
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
God Almighty, man. I don't know. I don't. I'm like out of thoughts. I legitimately have no idea. Because you
I-
can't even make a trade next season now because
Dude, the
you have a first round pick.
Wait, so
the
Joe, what?
hysteria laughing.
Joe, what's your assessment on this trade then? Since you're the prophet.
I really wish Rantanen did not go to Carolina, and because like I
Facts.
would have loved them to use Roslovic to get JT Miller. Oh,
I would piss myself.
I would have just laughed like forever. I think every single time that I would see anything related to Chris Drury, I would just laugh no matter what it was. Would have been perfect. It would have been perfect.
Would JT have measured up to Barkov last year?
Last year is definitely a conversation for. I mean, Miller did have 103 points last year.
I don't
dude.
think so. Just because Barkov's on a different planet of good.
He would have certainly matched up better than Zibanejad.
Oh yeah, it would have been better, but Barkov was just on a fucking mission last year too.
Put it to you this way: I think if you replace JT Miller with Wenberg on last year's roster, the Rangers maybe get it to 7 games against Florida.
JT Miller and Gensel.
Oh,
The
then
defense of JT Miller probably would have given Igor more shots to face though.
facts.
Like we said though last year, where the fuck was this urgency? Like that's really where I'm pissed off the most still.
The urgency is in the rafters right now. Regular
True,
season
with the,
champions.
yeah,
Let's go, regular season champs.
don't forget it. This trade
Like I
sets
said,
up
this trade's-
perfectly to sign McDavid in 2035.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
All right, so
God
in other
damn
it.
words, Joe wants to pull his hair out too, probably. Go tell Phil how much you hate this trade too, because I think he's a fan. I know he wanted Miller.
I hate everything right now. Like I actually hate everything.
You wouldn't even be able to get fucking Alex Tuck without trading fucking Will Cooley anyway. So there's no trading. It's this next team is gonna be built through free agency. Those spots we mentioned.
Alex Tuck is gonna get so much fucking money on this.
What did Evan Rodriguez get? Is this what Evan Rodriguez got?
He's
I
definitely getting
think,
more
yeah.
than that Tuck, right? Or
Yeah.
no, Evans.
There's Evans, and then you need your top 6 forward. I like you could maybe take a shot on Gus Nyquist and hope that he does it.
It's time to bring back Riley Smith.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. There's your boy, Corey Perry. Hope he de-ages. Jeff Skinner. Hope he de-ages.
Corey Perry. Oh man.
Mangiapane.
The trade just became official now.
Oh, the trade call's finally done.
Yeah, it only took like 17
and a half-
hours, but
Yeah, it took fucking literally forever.
Slow burn for you. Slow burn. Cody Cece.
Ooh,
and
Brandon
Adam Henry.
Tanev. I can get in on some Brandon Tanev action, but he'll want term, and I'm not willing to give it to him. Oh, Thomas Tatar. Yeah, that's who the Rangers will sign.
Oh wait. Speaking. Isn't what's his name a free agent? Max Pacioretty. Weren't we linked to him?
Oh,
He's like
right. Yeah.
38 years old, right?
Yeah, he's almost 100. Yeah, they wouldn't sign Mangiapane. He's too good.
He's only a few years removed from 90.
No, we just checked him out of the fucking group home that he was in.
Oh goodness.
I legitimately don't think a single one of these guys you can get on this team next season. You'd have to overpay on one of them, and I don't think any of them would be willing to do it. You'd have to get so lucky. Again, you might be able
That
to buy
overpay
low
is
on
going to be
depth.
just some lateral move, though. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. You're not getting better. So I don't know. I really I don't fucking know. You also can't like get into this thing where your whole team is full of fucking like bruisers. You need guys that are able to skate too and make plays.
That's allowed.
Yes, it's a new thing, but it's allowed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Heedle is injury prone, but for 5 years of Miller going into his 30s, like,
Just figuring out this is what the Rangers are gonna fucking do. I mean, this is just their fucking. I don't know. Where is he? Get over here. Roy, I know you're around here somewhere, you fucking fruitcake. Where are you? Where is CC? There he is.
the savior.
That's what I'd pay him. Meanwhile, I'll probably get this.
Give him the Brady Shea deal. Go ahead. Just give it to him.
We'll probably sign this guy. They'll give him
Yeah.
the Nemeth deal.
How fitting is this?
And then the next guy after that is probably Berard, right? And he was just sent down to get better,
Yeah.
develop.
Yeah, Trocheck posted on his story about the trade.
Already?
Yeah,
We're all at a barbecue. We're having so much fun.
pretty much what it is. You pretty much got the picture down pat.
I guess this is the team next year. It's not like you can go out and trade for anybody.
No, I feel like you
If
can
that's
save
the
some
team
money
next
with Jake
year, then
Lecision. I think you
if-
can save some money with Jake Lecision, in my opinion. This would be
You're
really.
not wrong, dude.
This
that's
is
the team
just.
next year. I cannot
It's a
take
it's a
them
no
seriously.
brainer. It's a no brainer.
I just cannot take that team seriously if that's the roster next year.
I don't
Dude,
take them
those are all
seriously
low balls.
right now.
I mean, yeah, true.
I can't. I just.
When does the second letter come out?
All right, I forgot we have Casey Fitzgerald. He'll be the sixth.
We're gonna have Ryan Reeves on our
He's
third
friends
line, aren't
with-
we?
He's friends with Fox.
We're gonna have
There's your answer.
third line Ryan Reeves, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna plant one of Berard or Othman in the AHL to start the year next year.
Is Kevin Hayes available? Sure, he
funny-
traded
it's
Hedo away
funny
so
till
he
they
could play
bring him back.
3C.
Oh, God.
This was at one time the most youngest, exciting, upcoming organization. Now it is just a bunch of 30-year-olds who whine like 5-year-olds. Unreal. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I can't bring myself to seeing how this makes sense in terms of, again, even if there is a world where Miller ends up outperforming my expectations.
Miller and Kreider were friends and old teammates, so maybe he recreates a riff in the friendship of Mika and Kreider.
It'd be like episode of fucking Friday Night Lights.
Even if everything does work out, though, I just again, I
It's
just
all about
don't
love
see how this
triangles.
makes
Who gives a
sense
shit about
with.
cups?
I just don't see the direction with the roster construction. That's all it comes down to.
You know what? We're gonna fucking find out what it's gonna look like literally tomorrow at 3:30 in the afternoon.
So, I mean,
2,
Here's the. I mean,
5,
when you think about it,
9.
Drury, the Rangers have been attached for trading for JT Miller for as long as Trocheck's been here.
Yeah. The Rangers have 9 games in the month of February. What's their record at the end of it?
This team's gonna have to win out.
Well, let me run through the schedule here. I don't feel confident the next 2 games. I think they'll maybe get a point in one of them. I think they'll probably lose in overtime tomorrow, lose to Vegas. They'll probably beat Boston at home. They'll beat Pittsburgh, lose to Columbus, lose to Buffalo because that's just what they do. And you couldn't even ask me with that last week. I mean, they'll probably lose to Toronto. I don't know what the hell happens with Pittsburgh and the Islanders. They're either gonna go 2-0 or 0-2. I don't see them going 1-1 there. Yeah, why are we so negative? We haven't got to Mika March yet. Shame on us.
Facts.
Oh my god. This is March.
Yeah, we should get Callahan back too. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank you everyone that did tune in as we discuss the great another move by the great Chris Drury. We'll see how the fuck this goes. I got no clue.
Before you end it, do you want to do line projections? Like, what do we think the lineup's going to look like with him here? Unless you did that already.
I somewhat ran through that, but half-assed it because I couldn't even figure out what the lines are going to be. I mean, if you have a prediction you want to throw out there, go ahead. And then we'll wrap it up. But I got no clue because I don't know if they're going to put him on
line on defense. That's what he's going to do. Because he's tough and physical.
Yeah, and Lafreniere moves back to the bottom 6. That would make sense.
Low key, not impossible.
That would be in this team's MO, and then Johnny Brodzinski's back as the fucking 3C.
I'll be honest. Like, you don't even have a center you could line up that would move any of those 3 to the wing. So one of them is going to be the third line center. I think it has.
No,
to
we
be
have
Mika.
Brodzinski.
Just bring back Step on, like
call him out of retirement. I mean, like, I don't know. Like,
okay, do you want what would make sense to me or what's actually going to happen? Because those are two completely different things.
Do make sense. Do make sense, and then what you want.
Okay. Wait. Do what I want first, or do what they're gonna do?
Evan, before you do this, remember. Evan, before you do this, remember meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Okay, I mean, Brodzinski's gonna play too, right? So it's like I have to.
You don't have to. You know, whatever you want. This is your canvas.
If this is my lineup, I'm putting Kaliev back in. I'd probably put Miller between Laff and Panarin. I would put Kreider with Trocheck, and I would put Cooley on the right wing, Smith on the left of Kaliev and Mika, and then that's your 4th line there. That's what I would go with.
Probably exactly how I'd build it out too. I might swap these two just because I think Riley Smith, as much as he sucks, is better than Kreider.
I'm not putting Kreider with Mika again. I'm just not doing that again.
That's facts.
I just would rather, and I would love to just,
I don't know,
at this point of the season, I would just want to try putting Kreider and Trocheck together again.
But remember, I think they miss each other.
Yeah, they could be getting sad.
Have you ever thought about that? You know?
That absolutely could be it. Now, what do we think the Rangers are actually going to do, though?
What they're actually going to do? Okay, put Trocheck back on that first line. Get Brodzinski in there. Kaliev. You're actually playing a good 200-foot game. Get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the cap hit. That'll be the cap cut. Kaliev.
Honestly, this might be the lineup, or you might flip Cooley and Brodzinski. That might be the lineup.
I could see that.
Riley Smith back to the top 6. Hold on.
Switch I think it's probably that.
Yeah, no, switch Cooley and Riley Smith. Put Cooley back to the left wing.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that's probably what we're gonna say.
I think they're just gonna put Miller where Hedl was. Although that would be with Kreider and Brodzinski then, right?
No, wrong Miller.
2 Millers.
Who's gonna have the letter in front of their name so we don't get them confused?
Sam and
What do
Phil
you
are
think-
gonna just nonstop bring that up.
What number do we think this idiot's gonna even get?
I can't tell the
dude?
Millers
Like,
apart.
dude, I mean, what number do you think? He can't wear 91 because, dickhead. He can't wear 10. He can't wear 9,
He'll go back to 47.
brother. You think he's gonna wear? Grace said he thinks that Miller. She thinks that Miller's gonna wear 24, in
I-
honor of Kako Bako, as she calls him.
Oh my God, that's for the playoffs. Sure.
The playoffs.
He can't
think
take
69.
27.
That's an interesting number. That's a strong number. I don't think he's gonna
Just
wear.
he
because
can't
Ryan
take-
McDonough
he-
wore it. Just
he
because
can't take
McDonough wore
50
27.
He can't take 15 because that's Jake Lecisions.
Yep. Cannot. Yeah. Cannot have that. It's out of the
Wait,
question.
but do we think this is the lineup, or do you? Because I think they're gonna put. I think they're gonna put Cooley, Zibanejad, Smith. I think they're gonna keep that line together,
Yeah.
and then put Miller.
We'll just swap the wingers.
Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna go with.
If Brzezinski finds his way into the top 6, I don't even know if I could stand to watch the fucking game,
I hate telling good people bad news.
dude. But like, yeah, fucking, dude. There's just no shot, right? Like,
They're gonna. They're
40
saving.
in honor of Pedersen.
They're saving 5 for Cody Cece, right?
oh God.
Hey, Ben Harper is still here. How
I
could
mean,
you?
You got to think the Rangers are going to keep buying, right? Yeah, they've clearly committed to buying. So what? Who are they? What are they getting at the deadline? Someone to replace
Adam
Brzezinski and a defenseman. Henry.
Adam Henrique. Put him on the wing.
But here's the thing: you have nothing to trade anymore. You don't have a first. You don't have a second. So we're gonna be bargain bin shopping.
That wouldn't be anything new.
We have
Yeah.
VC.
10.
Or this
Oh,
will
right.
this will be the year they actually decide to push the chips in instead of last year. Like this year they'll move prospects instead of when they're
Right.
first in the NHL.
Right.
Oh no, they've been linked to Besser.
Are you being serious? Really? Are they actually?
I mean, I've seen them linked to Besser, but
Christ on a fucking
Yeah,
cr-
Besser's
dude!
been
Imagine
talked
like
about
Besser
recently
gets
a lot.
here and he sees Miller and just fucking they just get into a fucking fist fight.
unless he was Team Miller in the whole fucking drama.
What was the
You
TSN
can
trade
learn
bait
something
board that
from
came out?
Mika and Kreider.
What was TSN trade bait 8 days ago?
Zach Jones is our best trade asset right now.
Literally, and I'm telling you right now, I don't think he gets more than a 3rd round pick in return.
He's gonna get less than what we got for Niels Lundqvist. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like.
Maybe we'll trade. Maybe we'll trade our other 1st round pick for Scott Lawton.
No, they did want him at
It's-
one point.
Yeah.
It's more. It's more pops than pops right now. How
Yes.
bad this is.
Realistically, if we're gonna pretend to be serious and pretend this team could actually have any sort of chicken shits chance in the playoffs this year, if we're
Kevin
gonna
Christensen.
if fuck you. If we're gonna play that game though,
Pretend.
then fuck. I'm trying to think of how to say it without saying that because I'm just gonna crack up every time. If we're gonna try to fuck, I can't. Okay, if we're gonna play pretend for this being realistic, I think that
If we're gonna play Sam Darnold ghosts on the field level
Yes.
of pretend.
yeah, if we're gonna be the Minnesota Vikings and act like we actually have a chance,
Okay.
ideally, I think you try to get Yanni Gord still.
Yes.
I think that would make sense, or Jake Evans if they're willing to move him. But Montreal's also actually ahead of the Rangers in the standings, so I don't
Forget
know how
about
that
Tyler
works.
Mott. Thank you, Robert.
Oh
Thank
fuck yeah,
you.
Mott.
Well, I didn't get there yet.
Shit.
You guys, can you let me get there? God, let me get there first. Gord,
Calm down.
Mott.
Don't rush me.
Gord, Mott, and I would want Byron, but we're gonna have to get Jack Johnson and be happy with it. So
Yes.
that's the deadline.
JJ.
If we want Mott, we give up Shesterkin.
Oh,
Saw it
no.
already
To be
signed in Vegas.
To be honest, like even if that does happen, like even if they do give up Shesterkin, like imagine like if that actually happens, they're gonna extend Mott.
Yes.
No, they wouldn't extend Mott. That's not their thing. They don't extend him. They'll just trade more assets for him
Well,
next year.
they've learned from those 2 times, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what's third time's charm? Haven't you heard? I thought everyone's heard. McKegg.
Or going
Someone
in
said
circles is the
McKegg.
charm.
You sick fuck.
McKegg.
But like on this list, I don't think the Rangers get any of these guys. They all make too much sense.
Most of these teams are ahead of them in the standings. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are we even talking about here, too?
You know what I mean? Like I will. If I had my pick of guys, I would like them to pursue. Realistically, I'm gonna say no to Nelson because Lou Lamoriello will not trade him here. No to Lawton. I'm interested in Frederick, depending on the price. Yanni Gourde, I think Yanni Gourde having surgery greatly diminishes his value. So that could be a buy low type deal. It's also assuming like hernia surgery that he comes back and is hitting and doing all those things. I mean, do hernia surgery. I don't know if he's going to be coming back and playing that Yanni Gourde style. Regardless, could be a good buy low. Jake Evans is the guy that I've wanted since the beginning of the year. I am all over this Jake Evans guy. Ryan O'Reilly, no, because you'll have to overpay to get him. Not Drew O'Connor, Robert, no. Olivier, we don't need any more fourth liners. Brandon Tanev, I would be we talked about him on that stream we did earlier this year with Philk and all them. I would be very interested in Brandon Tanev in a middle 6 role. I think that guy would be fucking awesome. I just feel like you're not getting enough scoring out of him if you do get him. I feel like at that point you're better off looking at. No, you can't even get fucking Kyle Palmieri because he's on the Islanders. So I don't know.
Tanev is. Why do I feel like if Tanev comes here, he's just gonna turn into like another like a glorified Brendan Lemieux?
Yeah, he probably would. He would like diminish himself the second he arrived here. He'd walk in the locker room and be like, "Okay, I'm allowed to suck again."
God.
All right.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The last thing we got to do here is compare the returns for what is it, Rantanen versus Miller or whatever.
Yeah, no, stay safe. I don't want to make myself cry more. All right, we're going to wrap up the stream here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, and God help us. We'll be back tomorrow for the post game. See you in the next one.